employees of the Monroe County District Attorney's Office, employees of the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, Alex Renzi in New York State Supreme Court, Paul C. Metzler and James Milley Jr. in Penfield Town Court. My name is Chris Chichester. I have been in jail 6 times, and 6 times prosecutors not talked in court. Perry Duckles, the Deputy District Attorney of Monroe County. What are the names of my prosecutors? And you've been refusing for 18 plus months to disclose these names to me. And that's insane. Insane is a word I've used repeatedly because every court appearance for me in these star chambers of Penfield Town Court, New York State Supreme Court, is financed by the taxpayers of the state of New York. And for you to refuse to disclose the names of prosecutors assigned to my court appearances is insane at the district attorney's office. And I'm also being violently attacked by sheriff office employees before I'm deposited in front of the corrupt judge, which is what Richard J. Seatman did to me at the Penfield Public Library, and which is what an unidentified Monroe County Sheriff Office employee did to me outside the pharmacy entrance to Wegmans, when 5 vehicles and 10 plus employees converged upon me because I was followed. What do you think, I'm fucking Charles Manson? 5 vehicles, 10 plus employees? This Monroe County Sheriff Office employee ran at me, knocked me down. My head slammed down on the concrete pavement. I had to get an MRI. So these are documentations here. This is called insane. You got this on March 28th, 10:53 p.m. Now, if I email you and you don't read it and I'm ignored, that I understand. This document here is called insane. This is UPS. I'm going to show the other documents that you also received. Now, that document that's called insane, because it's insane for a district attorney's office not to disclose prosecutors in a case. It's insane for employees of the sheriff's office to attack citizens. So this went to Jansen D. McNair of the Office of Public Integrity, who's a former Monroe County Sheriff's Office employee, and he's a patronage hire, who's returning my mail to me. Regina Harper, the Monroe County Public Defender's Office. Regina, what are the names of our prosecutors? Mark Phillips at the Monroe County Public Defender's Office. Mark, what are the names of our prosecutors? Julie Sianka, the Monroe County Public Defender. Is your name right there? What are the names of my prosecutors? Monroe County Public Defender Julie Sianka. Trinity Ross, the United States Attorney for the Western District of New York. She's in Buffalo. She also has an office in Rochester. I have sent her documentation now for 6 weeks. I have not contacted her directly. I've only copied her on documentation I'm going to hold up that I send to you at Jonestown at 47 South Fitzhugh and 130 South Plymouth Avenue. I believe if the United States Attorney for the Western District of New York, Trinity Ross, told you to disclose the names of our prosecutors to me, you would refuse the District Attorney's Office. Prove me wrong, Deputy District Attorney Perry Duckles, and eject yourself from fanaticism, extremism, and corruption, and tell me, Perry Duckles, the names of my prosecutors. Is one of them Julie Hahn, before John P. Lomenzo Jr., who didn't win, who's now on Monroe County Court? What's the name of the 5'2" 3-piece suit boy that has my concoctions before Paul C. Metzler? Because Regina Harper said to me, quote, the prosecutor's not backing down. He's a real Rambo, not backing down in total silence. Who has my court appearances before Alex Renzi in New York State Supreme Court? Because my last appearance, when he told me I was finished and done, which is not true, because I'll be arrested again. You'll put the screws to me again, because all it takes is one of you psychopaths at the district attorney's office to write the warrant, and then I'll be followed and tracked and stalked in Rochester. You'll arrest me, put the handcuffs on me, and then you place me in front of the corrupt judge, and I'll be declared guilty. You are absolutely infested with corruption. You're drenched in corruption at the sheriff's office, the district attorney's office. Alex Renzi here. There were 2 females standing behind me in my last appearance when he said to me, you're finished and done, or good luck, or words to that effect. That's not true. Because since you are easily enraged, and the language I use, I'm trying to enrage you at Jonestown. What are the names of my prosecutors before Alex Renzi? A prosecutor's never talked in court for me. Who is it? Who forced me into Alex Renzi, who then remanded me to Monroe County Jail? It's the prosecutor assigned to that appearance. It's insane for you to refuse to tell me the name. Perry Duckles. What are the names of my prosecutors? I'm going to read a Gmail I sent to you on January 1. I sent it to you on January 1 because I knew moving forward, I could say, I contact you on the first day of the year demanding names of my prosecutors. It's 90 days later. Now, it's going to be April 1 soon. And even though I contacted you on January 1, I read this, I still don't know the names of these hacks and sociopaths that are doing this to me. Does a life matter? Because my 50th birthday on July 4, 2015, I have a speeding ticket in my place of employment in Albany, New York, a speeding ticket in my place of employment in Washington, D.C. Both were dismissed when I went to court. I didn't suddenly become a criminal. I didn't suddenly lose the ability to make a distinction between legal and illegal, right and wrong. You don't know the distinction between legal and illegal, right and wrong. The sheriff's office, the district attorney's office. Michelle Crowley, look at my face, you disgusting sick hack. Why didn't you call me to the grand jury about Michael C. Houlihan and Don Benedetto? Do you know what I'm talking about? How is it, Michelle Crowley, you convene the grand jury, and I don't know what's convened, and you pick these 18 to 24 anonymous idiots that you want to be anonymous idiots to indict me? The answer is you're corrupt. And the answer is, another answer is that it is extraordinarily easy to indict a citizen with corrupt cops like Michael C. Houlihan and Don Benedetto, where I'm charged with attempted felony assault on my back porch. I'll talk about that, I hope, if I can recall exactly what I want to say about that. They chased me up into my back porch. Houlihan grabs my arm. The hammer I just grabbed next to my bicycle goes up and ran through the sliding glass door. In the diseased mind of Michael C. Houlihan, I attempted to assault him. And Alex Renzi in New York State Supreme Court told me there's no such thing. There's no such concoction as attempted felony assault. It's either assault or it's not assault. In Jonestown Sheriff's Office, you don't even know what the law is in the state of New York when you're concocting these crimes for me. Sandra, Doorley, the district attorney's office on UPS. This is Zone A, Panorama Trail, which I've been out there. I think that's where Richard J. Seatman is. So whoever the sheriff office employee whose name I didn't have is at Panorama Trail, and I've been in there a couple times. We'll get this. The human engagement deputy, that's you, Todd Thurston? Todd Thurston, do you know Richard J. Seatman? He walked into Penfield Public Library, he ran at me in the library, he extended his arm, slammed me in the head. It's the force of Seatman's arm hitting me in the head. I fell backwards and then my head hit the ceramic tile of the library floor. I thought I knew about him. And then here's Todd Baxter here. This is sexual harassment at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. Employees of the Sheriff's Office, $0 Michael Radler, Kathleen Miller, $101,000 William Tadeo, and Scott Alberti. I've been demanding that answer from him at Animal House now for 18 months. So here, what has been sent to you via UPS is this. This is called insane. This is the perfect word for you. Right here. Tuesday, March 28, 2023, 10:53 p.m. This is using a Proton mail account. I only use it once. Christopher.Chichester@proton.me. March 20th. It says here, Todd Baxter, Sandra, Doorley, read the attached PDFs, mail the names of my prosecutors, silence the address listed below, resign. For $113,918, First Assistant District Attorney Perry Douglas, identify my prosecutor's silence. From Monroe County Public Defender Julie Sianka, identify my prosecutor's silence. It is insane for you to look at this or watch me. If you watch me, I'll never know who watches me and refuse. But if no one watches me, if the total viewers is 0, the documentation is in the district attorney's office. Perry Douglas, you have it. I'm going to hold that up too. So I have insane. Insane. I'm being violently attacked by sworn officers of the law like Richard J. Seaman. Insane. I don't know the names of my prosecutors. I'm being prosecuted in silence 6 times in jail, and there's not one sentence, one word, one syllable ever from a prosecutor. But a prosecutor, the district attorney's office, is forcing me in to Paul C. Metzer and John P. Lomenzo Jr. on Penfield Town Court, Alex Renzi, and what are their names? Mark Phillips of the Public Defender's Office, Regina Harper of the Public Defender's Office. I would hope by now that you know that I have 0 respect for you, and I once did, and I once admired you, because Mark Phillips and Regina Harper, what are the names of my prosecutors? I asked you this, Regina, if you're watching me directly, and you refused to tell me directly to my face. You refused to tell me. Julie Sianka, the Monroe County Public Defender. This is what I sent to Mark Phillips and Regina Harper on February 21st. Mail the names of my prosecutors to the address 620 Park Avenue, Rochester, New York. This is my UPS box. For Monroe County Public Defender, Mark Phillips and Regina Harper. YouTube. Again, for Regina Harper, Mark Phillips, and Monroe County Public Defender's Office. And then I have a YouTube people, one judge, the corruptions, Sheriff Todd Baxter, and District Attorney Sandra Doorley, one judge. State legislature in Albany, where I lived and worked for 10 years, needs to change this law. that allows one judge to determine guilt or innocence. This is called on February 18th sickness for you, where it says February 17th. This is mailed on the 18th. Read the attached PDF documents, disclose names on prosecutor's silence, mail the names on prosecutor's silence, the address below resign. YouTube sickness, District Attorney Sandra Doorley, Todd Baxter, Alex Renzi. YouTube answers at First District Assistant District Attorney Perry Douglas, District Attorney's Office. So your email's up here, Perry Douglas, pdouglas@monroecounty.gov. I have your name in the YouTube title. This is February 17th, and you refused because you're corrupt. That's why. February 16th, this is the freak of the sheriff's office. This freak wrote a warrant for my arrest for parking lot walking 4,000 times. Shannon Myers paid $67,000. Todd Baxter, you gave this freak a $16,000 raise. That's why it's called Sheriff Todd Baxter $16,000 pay raise freak. 83291 Shannon and Meyer. And then here it says, read the attached PDF. That is Freedom of Information Law. Clive attached PDF. That's Freedom of Information Law. There's the links on here too. And I'm going to read this Perry Douglas because this is the January 1st email. Perry Douglas, what are the names of my prosecutors? Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. You at the district attorney's office and you at the sheriff's office are a threat to justice everywhere in Monroe County. This is January 1, Perry Douglas. Attachment PDF is a 61-page Freedom of Information Law document dated December 20, 2022. It arrived in your office via UPS. This documentation also arrived December 22nd, 2022 and December 26th, 2022 via UPS. It was tracked. You have it. Print each. Bring it to your corrupt boss, District Attorney Sandra Doorley. Tell this pathetic accumulation of health afflictions to send the information to my UPS address listed below. Includes the names on prosecutor's silence. What's not to understand? I've demanded names on prosecutor's silence for 18 months. I'll be in court again because your fellow psychopaths know it takes only one corrupt judge, such as Alex Renzi in New York State Supreme Court, or Paul C. Metzer in Little Penfield Town Court, to declare me guilty of criminal charges you concoct. A prosecutor's never talked to court for me, yet I've been in jail 6 times. This is fanaticism and hatred at your office that deserves the attention of the United States Department of Justice. You received the same FOIL documentation dated January 2nd, 2023 and January 3rd, 2023 that compels you to disclose the names on prosecutor's silence. You will continue to refuse and crave in silence. 61, Sheriff Todd Baxter, District Attorney Sandra Alex Renzi. 61 because there's 61 foils in there. Again, for Laura Riley, my ex-girlfriend Laura Riley took everything I owned from her. We used to live at 26 Sanders Farm Drive in Penfield to a storage locker in Webster. Storage locker's been cleaned out. I have nothing. I own nothing because you psychopaths at the sheriff's office and district attorney's office. So it includes the names of my prosecutor's silence. How do you look at this, Perry Douglas, if you looked at it? If you read it, if you read this Gmail and just refused to tell me the names? This is in your office with documentation that I'm sending. So prosecutor's silence. This is the payroll for the district attorney's office. Who is it? One of these freaks is doing this to me. Multiple freaks are doing this to me. When I say one of these freaks are doing this to me, it's the 5'2" 3-piece suit boy before Paul C. Metzer. What's his name? So here you have your employees here, $210,900. Sandra Doorley. Did Sandra Doorley, did you give yourself a raise because you were paid $203,000? So here you have Michelle Crowley. You're paid $131,416. You, Michelle Crowley, are paid $1,000 less than the duly elected sheriff of Monroe County, Todd Baxter. So Todd Baxter, when I use the phrase surveillance device, you're thinking about how you can humiliate me when I use that phrase. Now, Todd Baxter, I've talked about this repeatedly, about a camera you bought and affixed to a building at 2025 Penfield Road. Now, before we just want to show it to you. That's it right there. Is that not a surveillance device? Michael Radcliffe, Sheriff's Office, $101,000 William Tadeo. Regina Harper, the Public Defender's Office, emailed me the links. That's a camera on that building. Is this private technology you're using upon me for this business at 2025 Penfield Road, where Elliot Ross is the president, called Consumer Insights? Or did you buy it to fix it for me? The language here, January 16th. This photograph, to Todd Baxter. This photograph is why you're a fanatic. This photograph is why you're an extremist. This photograph is why you're a liar. This photograph is why I know the name of your $67,000 disgusting act, Shannon Meyer. This photograph is why people hate the police. This photograph is why people hate the police. Do you understand me? I call this a surveillance device. I finished my run on Willapalm Way in Penfield. I begin to walk down Sanders Farm Drive, and I see the Monroe County Sheriff Office vehicle in my driveway with Lindsey Barron, the Monroe County Office of Mental Health, because I called this contraption here accurately a surveillance device. And the great Mike Pompeo, who used to be at the CIA, will tell you this is a surveillance device. Do you understand me? You psychopaths, the sheriff's office and district attorney's office. So I ran down this Willapon Way to Sanders Farm Drive where I lived in Penfield. And then when I saw the sheriff's office vehicle in my driveway, I continued to run. I just thought I'll just continue to run some already running. The sheriff's office vehicle followed me down Willapon Way where Lindsay Barrett, the Monroe County Office of Mental Health, is screaming out of the sheriff's office vehicle, I want to talk to you, Chris. So when there's real crime crashing down on Monroe County, here is a Monroe County Sheriff's Office vehicle employee serving as the chauffeur for Lindsay Barron, the Monroe County Office of Mental Health, who wants to talk to me about your contraption that's a surveillance device that I've seen myself on over and over. This is the foil here. This is a couch from where I used to live next to Pleasant Street. I moved to Park Avenue. Over and over and over, demanding information. I think there are 1,000 plus, 1,500 plus documents in here. So, the Corruption District Attorney's Office, have your start dates here. You got employees that have been there for 30 years. So this is the overtime. Sandra Doorley, overtime $16,000. Why does Sandra Doorley require overtime? Because her salary is set in statute. $16,000 for this pathetic diva? Did you Perry Duckles, Michelle Crowley know that your boss is $16,000 in overtime? She's gouging taxpayers here. Ridiculous. If in fact that is overtime, I believe it is. I don't have the arrogance that I'm right and correct about everything. And if I make a mistake, if I make an error, I'll be corrected and I'll move forward, doing my best to be accurate. I always try to exist in the truth. I strive for the truth. And the truth is, you smashed me into a million little pieces. And you're a vile, sick, disgusting sheriff's office and district attorney's office, in jail 6 times. 6 times the prosecutor doesn't talk in court. I've talked about my little guy over and over. I'm not going to dwell on this again. Coming to my residence, the man, my dog, the absolute sick lunatic fringe of you at the sheriff's office, and district attorney, at sheriff's office, demanding my little guy.
Harry Douglas at Monroe County District Attorney's Office. My name is Chris Chichester. I live in Rochester, New York. I contacted you on March 18th. The title of the TikTok app was Disclosure of Perry Duckles, because I'm demanding of you, Deputy District Attorney Perry Duckles of Monroe County, to disclose the names of my prosecutor's silence. I have been in jail 6 times, and 6 times the prosecutor's not talked in court. So this is called prosecutors at Perry Duckles, because you, Perry Duckles, the Monroe County District Attorney's Office, know the names of my prosecutor's silence. I have been in jail 6 times, and 6 times the prosecutor's not talked in court. There is not one word, one sound, one syllable, one sentence. Deputy District Attorney Perry Duckles, for how I have been deposited in Monroe County Jail, in Rochester, and Livingston County Jail in Geneseo. Did you see any of what's commonly called the Duke lacrosse case, Perry Duckles? This is when this stripper, Crystal Mangum, accused 3 members of Duke University lacrosse team of rape. And one of the students is Reed Seligman. When Reed Seligman was in court, Perry Duckles, he looked right at Mike Knifon. Your boss, Sandra Doorley's the Mike Knifon of Monroe County. Perry Duckles, what are the names of my prosecutors assigned to every single court appearance? And I've copied Public Defender Julie Sianka and her employees in the Public Defender's Office, Mark Phillips and Regina Harper. Julie Sianka, Mark Phillips, and Regina Harper have the names of my prosecutors' silence, and they have been refusing for a significant period of time now to disclose the names to me. Quote, the prosecutor's not backing down. That's what Regina Harper said to me about the 5'2" 3-piece suit boy who has my concocted charges before this bald-headed $28,000 widow, Paul C. Metz from Town Court. What's his name, Perry Duckles? I've talked about him previously. Have you been in this nauseating, disgusting, vile room, Perry Duckles? It's not a jury of 12. It's not a table for a prosecutor. It's not a table for a defense attorney, public defender. It's not even a witness box for witness testimony. This nauseating, sick, vile little room is your room at the district attorney's office because everybody's guilty, and you love the fact that everybody's guilty, Perry Duckles. Look at my face, you nauseating, sick act. What are the names of my prosecutors? Christopher.Chichester@mail.com. Christopher.chichester@mail.com. Mail the names of my prosecutors silenced to that address because I will begin a process to disbar each and tell your boss, Sandra Doorley, to resign.
Identification. What are the names of my prosecutors? Perry Duckles. What are the names of my prosecutors? Michelle Crowley. It is insane to refuse to disclose the names of the prosecutors in a public proceeding. You know what justice is about? The United States of America, employees at the Sheriff's Office and District Attorney's Office. It's about money. If I had money, I never would have spent one day in jail because I would have had the resources to keep you psychopaths at the District Attorney's Office, Sheriff's Office, the State Supreme Court, and Penn Court away from me. Every now and again, you get to be a part of justice being done, and that's really quite a thrill when that happens. That's Tom Hanks in Philadelphia. I love that film. I love that scene. I'm not quite sure if I agree with that because justice is about money, and that's a disgrace. If I had money, not one day in jail. Public Defender's Office, which I used to have enormous respect for, Mark Phillips and Regina Harper, is refusing to tell me the names of my prosecutors, and that's ridiculous. And it has fundamentally altered my opinion about Regina Harper and Mark Phillips. Regina and Mark, you know my prosecutors, you know the names. Regina Harper and Mark Phillips sent my envelopes back to me that I sent to them via UPS. When they know I'm demanding the names of my prosecutors. This is in your office. This is January 26th, 2023. Comply with the attached PDF dated January 26, 23. That is 73 Freedom of Information Law documents. This includes identification of my prosecutor's files, mailing information I demand to the address of the foil. What I'm demanding to know also here in this foil is if you settle employment-related discrimination lawsuits under Title VII of the 1964 Civil Rights Act. Because since you're animals at the District Attorney's and Sheriff's Office, I believe you're sexually harassing each other. Sexual harassment has multiple definitions. I'm not going to go into that now. This is called fanaticism, Todd, Baxter, Sandra, Doorley, Alex, right? Perjurer. Michael C. Land lied on the road when he said I swung a hammer at him. That's why he's a perjurer. He won't be fired because Todd Baxter's corrupt. YouTube violence. Sheriff Todd K. Baxter, $75,904, Richard J. Seaman. Richard J. Seaman walked into the Penn Public Library, extended his arm, slammed me in the head, force of seat his arm, hitting me in the head. I fell backwards. My head hit the ceramic tile because one person, $28,000 bald-headed widow, Paul C. Messer, wants to send me to jail, which is going to be Livingston County Jail in Geneseo. I'm going to write a criminal complaint about this violent attack upon me for Richard J. Seaman, who I also saw for double jeopardy on Penfield Road. I'm going to talk about double jeopardy later on this week, or next week, pardon me. This is a violent fanatic, this Richard J. Seaman. I'm being followed and stalked into the library, attacked in the library, and who's the partner with Richard J. Seaman? So, call rejection and accountability. Rejection, because you rejected my foil and that was attached in that YouTube. Accountability, because you're accountable to no one. You just do whatever the hell you want. This is February 5th. Again, your corruption, fanaticism, District Attorney's Office. YouTube information at District Attorney Sandra and Todd Baxter. Comply with the attached Freedom of Information Law documents. Mail the names of my proxy signed by court appearance to the address below in Rochester, New York. So, you're refusing every single time to disclose these names. This is the accusatory instrument that lands me in Monroe County Jail for a parking lot I've walked through 4,000 times. This is because of your $83,000 freak, Shannon Meyer. I walked through this parking lot for the 4,000th time. Named Nayraj Shah lives with his 70-year-old mother. Layla Kumar Shah begins to scream. This is how you set me up for criminal attempt second when this is not a crime. Shannon Meyer told Steve Desmond of a racket called Broccola Tree Lawn Care to ride his tractor by my residence. If I come outside, they're going to arrest me. The way to concoct the crime for me, employees at the Sheriff's Office, is to put a dead prostitute on my bed, to break into my house where I used to live. That's the way to do it. Because for me to walk outside, tell Steve Desmond, Broccola Tree Lawn Care, nobody owns the land next to my residence, walk back on my residence. That's not a crime. You psychopaths at the Sheriff's Office. Do you understand me? I called Timothy Murphy, the Monroe County Office of Real Private Tax Service. He can't confirm anybody owns this land next to my residence. Even if there is, by some miracle, ownership of this land next to my residence, it's not a crime to tell Steve Desmond or anybody that there's no ownership of the land next to my house. So this is the accusatory instrument here from this hack Shannon Meyer, warrant advised. And I took every sentence of it. This is my undated. I'm going to update this. If it's a crime to walk through this parking lot, How many of the Penfield High School students that walked through this parking lot after fireworks on June 30th, 2019 were arrested? Because on that day, over and over and over, 200 plus people walked through this parking lot. Because there were events at Penfield High School, there were fireworks in Harris Warren Park where I slept for 3 weeks on a bench next to the baseball field. People will walk through this park lot. I contacted you the next day. No one's arrested. So where's my 14th Amendment right to equal protection of laws? Because it's freak Shannon Meyer. You love to surround yourself with freaks at that sheriff's office, and then you give this freak Shannon Meyer a $16,000 raise. So, who is it, Perry Douglas? Who's the prosecutor before John P. Lorenzo Jr.? Who's the prosecutor before Paul C. Metzler? Who's the prosecutor before Alex Renzi? I say things on here so there'll be a record of it. I'll be arrested again. This is how easy it is to be in jail. One of you psychopaths at the district attorney's office will concoct a warrant for me or some type of documentation that forces me into one judge, and I'll be declared guilty and remanded to Monroe County Jail. It's exactly what's going to happen to me. And I'll be back on here with I told you so. And the state legislature in Albany needs to change this law that allows one judge to determine guilt or innocence. Because one judge determining guilt or innocence is how a life is destroyed. And that's exactly what you have done to me at the sheriff's office and district attorney's office. So you're going to continue to refuse to disclose the names of these prosecutors for me. This is identification here. This is February 24th. Identification here over and over. And you're refusing every single time to disclose these names to me. And Michelle Crowley, when I say I've contacted you about the grand jury, this is February 12th, YouTube misconduct on Chief of the Grand Jury Bureau, Michelle Crowley. Here you are. Why didn't you call me to the grand jury? How is that answer, Michelle Crowley? I'll pursue your disbarment with the Appellate Division of State Supreme Court for indicting me in 1, I don't know the grand jury's convened, and 2, Michael C. Houlihan perjured himself to the grand jury. Is there a transcript to this grand jury, Michelle Crowley? I don't believe that there is a transcript to that jury. And why is that? So when I say nobody owns this land, Timothy Murphy can't confirm it. This is what Layla Kumar and Neeraj Shah sent to me. This is nothing. This is fiction. When I bought my house in the Albany County suburb of Guilderland, I had a notarized document that had a seal on it that declared that I own the land on a cul-de-sac at 4060 Georgetown Square in Guilderland, New York. This is nothing. And my realtor, her name was Glory, was telling me about the documentation that proves that I own the land next to my residence. No one owns the land next to 26 Sanders Farm Drive. Even if there is ownership by some miracle, it's not a crime to tell a man on his tractor. Nobody owns that land. I repeat myself, because you're corrupt. This is nothing. This is fiction. How do you possibly employ this nightmare cop from hell, Shannon Meyer, Todd Baxter? Because you, Todd Baxter, are a nightmare cop from hell. So I haven't decided yet how I'm going to communicate with you again. If it's going to be UPS, if it's going to be FedEx, or if it's going to be registered mail return receipt. Because this is registered mail return receipt. This is the card. I fill this out. This arrives at your office. This doesn't come back to me. This comes back to me with your signatures, where I know it arrives. And you're going to refuse. United States Postal Service, I've communicated with you demanding names of my prosecutors. UPS, I've communicated with you demanding names of my prosecutors. Federal Express, I've communicated with you demanding the names of my prosecutors. It's FedEx right here. See that receipt? And on email, YouTube, FedEx, UPS, United States Postal Service, over and over and over, demanding names of my prosecutors. You're refusing because you're corrupt. That's why. Identification. So, employees of the Monroe County District Attorney's Office of Sandra Doorley, mail to Christopher.Chichester at mail.com the names of my prosecutors' assignments, or to UPS 620 Park Avenue, PMB number 361, Rochester, New York 14604. And you will refuse because you're corrupt. My name is Christopher Chichester. I have never committed a crime.